Bruce Pritchard, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Good, thank you for having me.
And also, it's extra exciting for me because I got tickets for your and Conrad's live show here in Belfast. And I think I was literally the first person to buy the ticket.
Even better. I like that. You know, I always screw up. I go real fast, and sometimes I guess I mispronounce it. I was saying Belfast, just because I sometimes am going through fast, and I want to make sure that it's Glasgow. You got to do it instead of Glasgow, and people get upset at that. So it's Belfast.
Oh yeah,
that's the right way, and I know that, but sometimes I screw up on the show, and I just do what I can, man. But I'm looking forward to it. I've been to Belfast before. See, I say it fast, and absolutely loved it. So my most prized Hard Rock Cafe possessions are from Belfast.
Are you looking forward to doing some of the drinking over here?
Might have a few adult beverages while we're there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I know it's wrong to boast, but I don't think anybody does pubs like Ireland in December.
Well, I'm looking forward to find out.
Well, just as we get to the first question here, one of the things I want to ask you is, obviously, you've had years of being a backstage writer, a producer, a booker, and now I guess you could call it like an analyst. So the question I would ask you is, can you still enjoy wrestling as a fan, or do you still see it with that older type of point of view?
Well, you know what? I started out as a fan, and I've always been a fan all the way through it. So you try to create when you're creating, not just for yourself, but for what the audience wants and what the audience is looking for and what they all buy and enjoy the most. And the only way to do that is still to have that viewpoint as a fan. So while I still put on the critic's hat when I watch today, I try to sit back and just enjoy it and see what they're going to do and try and remove myself. That's the best way to watch.
In the preparation for you doing this interview, one of the things that I try to the most is, because I'm a long time fan of you, like ever since I even became a fucking mark, as they're called online. I've always loved Brother Love. I thought he was great. So I've been a fan of you as a podcaster for a long, long time. And I've tried to come up with questions that you've possibly not spoken about as much.
Go for it, man. I'm happy. Let's go.
Okay, well, one of the first big rumors I remember hearing about was in the later 90s was when Chris Jericho was initially coming into WWE. The rumor I'd read from a certain journalist was that Chris Jericho's original plan, or the original booking plan, was that Jericho was coming in as the new leader of a babyface DX, but the Triple H had that shut down.
Yeah, that's not even remotely close to being true.
Oh, was there ever plans to bring Jericho in as a face, or was it always a heel?
The idea, as far as I know, and I don't know what Vince Russo had in mind on his end, because Russo left before Jericho ever came in. But as far as everything that I've ever experienced and what we were talking about with Chris Jericho was always to introduce him as a heel and bring him in exactly the way they brought him in. So that to me, and I'm not saying that someone might have discussed that at some point, but from Vince's standpoint, from what was actually seriously considered to take place, that was not something that was seriously considered to take place. So it never got to that discussion point with us.
Here's another rumor, and this is one of these brilliantly, and this has got to be true because I read this on a message board, so it has to be true.
There you go.
Shawn Michaels versus Ultimate Warrior was the original plan for SummerSlam 1996 or WrestleMania 13?
No. I can't. No, not even close. Ultimate Warrior was being brought in as an attraction during that time. When we brought him in there at WrestleMania 12, the idea behind bringing him back was to be an attraction and to be that Almost the Andre the Giant or Hulk Hogan attraction at the time. He wasn't coming in to work a full schedule. He wasn't coming in to be on the road all the time. And it was at that time, Vince really had an idea that he wanted to push Shawn Michaels and that he wanted to continue the story that we had with Bret and Shawn. But Warrior and also even coming into it through the summer when Warrior left and then was subsequently fired. No, unfortunately. Y'all got some strange rumors over there.
Oh, there's over here, everybody's hungover so much there's nothing to do but read message boards.
Well, okay, we'll see then. You know, it's if it was on the internet, you have to believe it then, I guess.
When it comes to WrestleMania, even back like in the 80s to the 90s, how far ahead would the main match be planned?
Ideally, we would know a year ahead of time, but as years went on, it became more and more difficult to do that. You would have in the back of your head a good idea and a possible plan, but you also have to, with live television and doing TV live every week, it became that we could adjust, and we found that a lot of times plans were not as good as we got into it a little bit more. We just found that, you know what, maybe we need to make a right turn here and do something else. So with live television, we were able to change up our plans and listen to the audience a little more and make changes on the fly. So what we might have thought we were going to do at WrestleMania, we may end up doing at Royal Rumble, or we may end up doing it on television. So it just really depended on what they were buying at the time.
Do you know if there was any WrestleMania 13 plans for Ultimate Warrior?
We were looking for, with Ultimate Warrior, there weren't, because we didn't know what we had. We had an idea that this guy was going to come in and we would be able to put him up at the top of the card. But at the same time, at WrestleMania 12, okay, which is when Warrior returned and that Shawn won the championship, the initial working idea was to return at WrestleMania 13 with the Bret and Shawn return, which Shawn then lost his smile and we never had. For Ultimate Warrior, we hadn't given it that much thought because Warrior was just coming back into the fold, and he didn't last that long to be able to give it that much thought.
Was it awkward when somebody like Warrior came in with his salary and then you realized, oh shit, he really isn't drawn for us?
Sometimes, but it's, again, everybody is different, and the rumor and innuendo of what you hear with different guys and what they allegedly were getting paid are usually so enhanced and just not true unless the guy wants to show you his paycheck and show you a year's worth of paychecks and his tax returns. It's hard to believe a lot of times what guys either claim they made or what other people claim they made. Show your tax returns, and if you want to talk about it, cool. I just never, because I negotiated a lot of the contracts, I never felt it was my place to talk about what other people made. And that was confidential, and that was something between them, and if they wanted to divulge it, more power to them.
Here's one, and you'll probably laugh in my face and actually attack me next week for this one. That in 2002, Vince wanted to add The Undertaker to the NWO.
Remind me to slap you when I see you. Not even remotely. No.
Yeah, I thought that one wasn't going to go down well.
Yeah, that one I can guarantee you was never even discussed.
Yeah, that one was even during my Markiest days. I remember reading that thinking, no way Warriors being Scott Hall's sidekick or Undertaker.
Yeah, not happening.
But I mean, speaking of slaps, what was your take on the public reaction to the Nia Jax accident with Becky Lynch?
I think that the audience sometimes has become, too smart for their own good, that they think that that they truly understand everything that's going on. Accidents happen, things happen. It's not ballet. If somebody gets hurt in the ring, that's an unfortunate reality of the business. So the fact that it changed plans is something that, for those in the know, okay, they have to deal with it. But if the audience just takes it as entertainment, you take it for what it is and enjoy it. Just sit back and enjoy it. Don't try and analyze it. Nia, she was out there. She was doing her job. Becky was doing her job. An accident took place. Becky got hurt. They had to make changes, and they had to change things around for the Survivor Series. At the end of the day, when you look at what is going to take place and what they will have come WrestleMania, whatever, it might be better than what they originally had. I mean, this could be a blessing in disguise. Could be the best thing that ever happened to Becky. Could be the best thing that ever happened to Nia. Could be the best thing that ever happened to Charlotte and, oh my God, Ronda.
Yeah.
So you have to make the most out of whatever situation you have. And I think that for people to get on Nia Jax about hitting someone in a physical sport, get over it, folks. Guys get hurt and guys get popped every single day. And, man, accidents happen.
Yeah, and the thing with a lot of those fans is, like, that's why non-wrestlers aren't supposed to try that shit, because they're trained and even they can make mistakes every once in a while.
Sure. And it's just one of those situations that people look at and they go, oh, well, boy, she did that. She should never wrestle again. It's just not the best. Owen Hart made a mistake, and Steve Austin got injured and changed the trajectory of his career. It has happened on down the line. The most skilled and the best in the business, they will have a mistake here and there. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of the business. And everybody knows that when you step into the ring, that the reality is that you could get popped. You could get hurt. You could slip outside and break your neck due to no one's fault. But it's a dance, and you just try and make the best out of it.
And the weird thing is, this one botch made Rousey, Flair, Jax, and Lynch probably 4 of the biggest draws in wrestling right now. So either way, those ladies are having huge WrestleMania matches, whether the critics like it or not.
Right, and it got a lot of people talking about it. So, again, credit to all of them, and I hope that they all make the most out of it. And I think that they will, because Charlotte went out and proved that she can have a great match with Ronda and left people wanting more. So I think they're going to want more of Charlotte. They're going to want more of Becky. And then you throw the monster in there, and why not? Get people talking.
And plus, that means there's a chance that there's going to be an Irish person headlining WrestleMania. So WWE's going to go ape shit over here.
Well, you always got an Irishman over there. Vince is involved in it. So it's, he's Irish. I love him, that big, tough Irish bastard. I found out I just got my DNA back from one of those DNA things, and I'm all Irish, Scandinavian, and English. Little bit of Greece, but everything else, I am like concentrated in that area. I have nothing from any other place around the world. So I'm one of your countrymen, by God.
Well, don't mention the English part when you come to Ireland next year.
But the majority of it is all Ireland and Scotland.
Good, because if you mention the English one, the code Vince, you're fired.
No, man. It's I'm looking for the percentages here. Yeah, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Scandinavian, and English is way down there. But I have more Greek in me than English. But it's all right there, man. Ireland, Scotland. I like it. My mom's maiden name was McDermott.
Oh.
So, yeah, I come from good Scottish and Irish stock.
Would you like to hear a little Irish fact that actually sounds racist, but it's actually true?
What's that?
Pierce Brosnan grew up opposite the street from where my granny lived back in the day. So that's how small Ireland is.
Nice.
So just to get back to these Mark questions, because I can't deny the fact
The
that
rumor and innuendo, I like to call.
The true lies, the fake news questions.
Exactly.
Well, the original, I've heard this story that for WrestleMania 9, every original planned match for that card had to be changed. And some of those matches were Hogan versus Giant Gonzalez, Undertaker versus Yokozuna, Macho Man versus Ultimate Warrior, and Bret Hart versus Scott Steiner.
Absolutely none of those. The only thing with the Scott Steiner thing is when we wanted to bring the Steiners in, Pat Patterson and I originally wanted to bring Scott in alone as a single, have Scott win the Royal Rumble and have the match that night for Scott to become the champion. Vince was like, yeah, that's never going to happen. He didn't want a newcomer and someone that he felt that the audience didn't know to come in and do something like that. Yokozuna was somebody that had just started, and the thing about Yoko was every time that Yoko would take his robe off in every arena, there would be just an audible ooh reaction from the crowd. So we thought, well, Yoko, who the hell's going to get him over the top rope in the Battle Royal at Royal Rumble? That made sense for him to win it. I had pushed heavily for the Royal Rumble to have consequences, a la the winner gets something at WrestleMania. So the idea at that time was, the only thing that changed is we got closer to it was when we got the encore for the pay-per-view, which meant that you have the pay-per-view on Sunday and then we replayed it for a week after that and we're able to plug it. Normally you had two shots. You had the live opportunity to see the pay-per-view and then you could see it on a replay that night, but you couldn't see it after that. So when we did that, the idea of Hogan, what if, this unadvertised, this craziness happened? And that was why, a lot of the reason why we did it. And also Hogan wanted to have the belt when he went overseas, but that's a whole nother story, what took place there. So that was always the plan. The plan was always for Bret and Yoko and for Yoko to win the championship, to be this unbeatable monster. And we got there in the summer, but not exactly the way that we wanted to. And originally, we wanted Hogan in a single match. Beefcake was somebody that Hogan really wanted. They felt that Beefcake, it was time for him to come back, had to protect his face, and Hogan felt that it would be a better match if it was a tag team match and wanted to work with DiBiase and IRS because he trusted them. So those matches were, once we got into it, those were in stone. And the Undertaker Giant Gonzalez match, he's never let me forget that. Undertaker hasn't. But we worked to that one too. So yeah, I think something happens between here and over there with some of the rumor and innuendo. I've never even heard these.
Oh, I heard also there was plans for Marty Jannetty versus Shawn Michaels and a Mr. Perfect versus Ric Flair match.
There were.
Oh,
there were, but yeah, there were. That part actually we did have but the idea was Rick gave his notice and we got the Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair match right there, live the day that Vince granted him his notice.
See, the thing, you'll never really know what it's like to be a true wrestling geek, Mark, because you actually worked in the business. So for a nerd like this to get any sort of insider info, it's like just hooking into my veins, No,
it's all good. And it was, but some of that is Marty Jannetty and Shawn. That was something that we did want to do, and it was short-lived due to Marty having some challenges and different demons, we like to say. But that was also something that was talked about. But the Kurt Hennig and Ric Flair, that was something that we got on TV after Rick had given his notice, but we were working to eventually have that match.
And just as you mentioned him, as you said that he was Undertaker's favorite match of all time and that Undertaker loves it. But do you think that Giant Gonzalez, and I'm being genuine here, but do you think that he is Hall of Fame worthy? Because, like, for me, he wasn't like the greatest technical guy of all time, but he's memorable, and he doesn't have to be the headliner of the Hall of Fame. But I think he does deserve an induction at some point.
Well, for Giant Gonzalez, he's memorable. The only thing is he didn't last very long anywhere. He had a very limited run in WCW, and he had a very limited run with us. He wasn't able to take the career, wasn't able to do anything beyond those very small and short limited runs. And then he went back to basketball. So I would not say that he had anything resembling a Hall of Fame career. Super nice guy, sweetheart of a man, but his heart wasn't in it. He really didn't understand, or he had no love for the business. He was doing it as a job. But yeah, I don't know about that one.
Was Hogan versus Giant Gonzalez ever considered?
No.
Probably couldn't slam him, brother.
That's it. Oh, he would have won. No, he would have got him somehow.
I gotta be honest. See, while that may not have been the greatest match, that would be the hype for that. Would just be like,
exactly.
You just know Hogan would have went into overtime, and then Vince doing the voiceover for the video packages. It's the Giants.
Exactly.
I gotta text Vince and try to see what he can do here. Here's a rumor from WrestleMania 14. While apparently the plan was always Austin versus Shawn Michaels, the headline. The rumor I've read is that Bret Hart versus Ken Shamrock was somehow considered for the in the mid card.
Well, I don't even remember. But I'm sure at some point we probably would have wanted to get Bret and Shamrock together.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I think I remember them working a match on Raw once or twice, but I doubt them. I don't remember them ever like really getting the time to fully put on a clinic.
Yeah, I think that Bret and Shamrock would have had great matches, and that could have been a hell of a program.
Here's another one for you. The original early plans for WrestleMania 15 was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H, but it was changed after The Rock got so over at SummerSlam 1998.
Oh boy, see, I have to think years, and I have to think going into where we were, but I'm pretty sure that it was Rock, because he was the up and coming star, and that's where they wanted to get to. But it was Rock as the champion at that time, right? Yeah. So I mean, it was then that's where they did the whole thing that we just talked about at Survivor Series with the switch, and that at that point was planned all that time to go into WrestleMania with Rock and Steve.
It's a shame that guy Rock's really faded into obscurity. I mean, he's just wasting his life.
Yeah, I mean, mid-card guy at best, and I don't know if he'll ever make anything with his life.
No personality.
Poor guy. No. Can't cut a promo. Nobody really cares about him. Average look, yeah. Yeah, I think Rock's done all right for himself.
I don't know. I mean, he only made 120 million. Like, can he not just do 130 like a normal person?
Exactly.
Such a loser. I'll tweet him after this. Me and Vince aren't speaking to The Rock. Here's another one. Another Steve Austin rumor that for WrestleMania 18, the plan was for Steve Austin versus Triple H in a face versus face match, and Austin was to put over Triple H, but Austin refused.
No, that was never discussed.
No. I gotta say though, but it's a shame we never really got that Austin versus Triple H return match.
Yeah, and it also would have been a whole lot different had we done something different after WrestleMania 17 with those guys, as far as Steve turning heel and Hunter turning babyface. I think it would have made a big difference. Then, if we had done that, that could have been the main attraction at WrestleMania 18.
Here's one again, including that Nobody, The Rock. For WrestleMania 20, the initial plan was The Rock versus Shawn Michaels.
I don't think we even had The Rock at that time. I know WrestleMania 20 was where we got to the triple threat, and a lot of that was changed as we got closer into it, and we made some adjustments. But I don't think Rock wasn't even a part of that show at all. So I don't think we ever had him to begin with.
That was the one where he did the Rock and Sock Connection versus Evolution.
Okay, then that was the deal with Mick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the issue. Was we didn't have Rock for a long time, and he came back to do that, and that's why, again, you want to have somebody for a build-up, and you want to have somebody afterwards for that kind of a main event deal. And Mick, that whole issue with those guys, it just kind of worked, but I don't think we had a lot of The Rock going into it or out of it. And with the championships and those main matches with Eddie and with Benoit there, it just made a lot of sense. It was Eddie and Kurt Angle, and then Hunter and Shawn and Benoit. So they were all already in a program working that way. And a lot of that was probably made 3 to 4 months ahead of time.
Whatever way it worked out, I thought WrestleMania 20 had some brilliant matches, so we all win in the end,
Yeah.
And just the final WrestleMania rumor that I would love to ask. Like, obviously, he passed away about 6 months before the event, but apparently the rumor is that the plan for WrestleMania 22 was not Shawn Michaels versus Vince McMahon, but Shawn Michaels versus the brilliant Eddie Guerrero.
Well, I would love to have had that happen. To me, that's a dream match that we didn't get, and that's something that I think the audiences would have loved. To me, Eddie and Shawn were almost interchangeable as far as their skill, their charisma, and that's something that I'm always used to describe Eddie as the Mexican Shawn Michaels. So it was that's something I definitely would have loved to have seen.
Eddie Guerrero is the only guy that he could turn the most conservative Christian into a foul-mouthed guy, because when you watch his matches, you just go, holy fuck, how did he do that?
Eddie Guerrero was man, he was the best. I just thoroughly loved Eddie.
Yeah, and he's one of these guys where I just love doing it with the network, where you just randomly take, right, Eddie Guerrero versus, and scroll down and go, right, here's the next 2 hours.
Yes, and Eddie could work with anybody and make them look great and make it look easy.
Just as we come up to the final 2 questions, it's inevitable that you're going into the Hall of Fame soon. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, I doubt it, but
come on. For Brother Love alone, never mind the behind the scenes contributions you've done, but like you're one of those people where it's like he's going into that Hall of Fame. So I gotta ask the question that you've probably been asked a million times before: if you could pick someone to induct you, is it one of the headbangers?
Yeah, definitely probably be Chaz. Yeah, without a doubt. Well, I don't think that I will ever go in. It's kind of you to say that, but I just don't think it's one of those things that's ever going to happen. At least while I'm alive. But I don't. It's mental masturbation. So to sit there and think about, well, who would, what if? I wouldn't even have a clue who would induct me or do it. So the headbangers might be the guys.
if all three of you could come out wearing those skirts and jumping around the stage, that's gonna go viral.
Exactly.
And just this final question, Bruce, and this is the big question, and your entire career and legacy revolves on this question. The Spice Girls are back. Who's your favorite Spice Girl?
Oh my God, Mel B. Scary. You don't love Mel B. Come on. She's the only one I know too.
Well, personally, I'm more of a baby Spice kind of girl because she looks like she knows her way around a good hot dog.
Well, I've heard Mel B does too. Just saying.
I've heard she's into a hot dog and a little bit more.
Maybe, it's kielbasa's and sausage, and it's not a bad thing.
What do you think Vince would like most about Mel B?
Damn it. He likes titties. Yeah. I think it's all right there for him. And they're chocolate. Gotta love it.
Holy shit. Well, Bruce, I'm just going to tell you, it's so amazing that you would take the time to do this. We went a bit longer than we agreed, and I can't wait to meet you and shake your hand for all the brilliant stuff you've done for us over the years.
Well, man, I look forward to it. I look forward to being in Belfast. When am I there? We're there on Tuesday, right?
Is it?
I don't see. You know what? I am ashamed of myself that I don't have it up because I got into the interview and I'm sitting here just having a good time, and I never even went and pulled up all the schedule, but I'm pulling it up as we speak because I'm leaving here on Sunday. So we're going to be in Belfast on Wednesday.
Oh,
Wednesday, December the 5th at the Black Box. So we're going to be in Glasgow on Tuesday the 4th. So I'm looking forward to it. Then we go over to that other place there in England. So in Belfast they hate England, right?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe it.
Okay. So but they like Scotland.
They can take it or leave it, but
well, the Irish like Irish.
Oh, well that's because we're amazing.
Yes, I agree. You can't argue that point.
Thank you.
I'm just I'm there with you. So it's always have to be, because everybody was telling me, well, Belfast is not part of the UK. However, when you look it up on a weather map, it says the UK.
Yeah, well, technically it is, but it kind of leads to an unusual debate.
Yes, and it's really Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like to say. Okay, in Glasgow, Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then England's that damn UK stuff.
Fuck them all is what I say.
Yes, God bless the Irish.
Yes, God bless Bruce Prichard, and take care of Conrad as well.
All right, man. Well, Adam, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on.